So I've been practicing. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to welcome my first guest, Lucas Lynggaard Tønnesen.
Wow.
Nailed it?
That is well done. Well done. You said better than some Danes do, okay?
Really?
Yeah. Well done.
Hello. Welcome to the Green Room podcast, a space where actors can relax, be themselves, and chat freely. Why don't you grab a coffee and join us?
Hi, I'm Lucas, and this is The Green Room.
My first guest is Lucas Lynggaard Tønnesen, Danish actor, model, entrepreneur, screenwriter, director, all-round force of nature. He starred in various successful Netflix series such as the international runaway hit 1899, as well as a popular series about a mysterious pandemic titled The Rain, which was shot before COVID, believe it or not, and a long-running Danish political drama called Borgen. Lucas and I met on the set of Desperate Journey, a British film, an upcoming British film that chronicles the life of a young Austrian Jewish man during the Holocaust. And I'm so glad he agreed to be my first guest, as he gave me that last push to finally start the podcast. We met on the set of Desperate Journey, which was a film that you shot in Hungary, a British film. Where I was basically looking after you. I was the cast PA, preparing the green room and making sure you were comfortable. And this is kind of the spirit that I'd like to take forward here. So first of all, I had a look at your filmography. I literally watched everything, like all 3 seasons of Borgen,
What?
The Rain, like literally everything.
Oh my God, Imola.
Dude, I do my research.
Well done.
What have you been up to other than growing out your hair into these luscious locks?
After we wrapped, I've been working on a new film that we're going to shoot here in September. It's an exciting feature film in Sweden where I'm playing one of the leads.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. In short terms, it's about a girl who just want to have fun, basically. And she meets 2 guys who also just want to have fun, but she is not who she says she is.
It sounds like a recipe for a disaster.
It's kind of like the Scandinavian Saltburn, a little bit.
Mm.
It makes a bit of Triangle of Sadness and another film called Psykpike, which is such a really good film as well. So yeah, that's what I've been. Oh, it's a little guy. We have. I told Imola before we started recording, but we have a little puppy.
Oh my God, we're gonna see him.
Oh, he is right here,
Hi.
and his name is Otto, and he is full of energy.
I can't.
Some days more than the other.
And he has a duck or a goose. Oh my God, and it squeaks.
And he is 8 weeks old, and he has razor sharp teeth, so he bites in everything, and it hurts a lot, doesn't it? Even if it does. Okay, you don't.
But you don't mind. I bet you don't mind all the sharp little teeth.
No, that's all. Not at all. Sometimes, and some days he can, he has a lot of energy, so it's kind of like we're living in Otto's world right now, me and my girlfriend Laura.
Now, who does he remind me of? All that energy, all that light joy. Where have I seen that before? When we said goodbye at the wrap party of Desperate Journey, you said, I know who I am, and you know it too. And I was like, whoa, yes, I know there are parts of me that I haven't kind of allowed to flourish. And this was one of them. So thank you for kind of giving me that kick in the butt. And thank you for agreeing to be my first guest.
You are very welcome, Imola. Very welcome. I'm very happy to be here. I am very impressed on your memory skills. I mean, I can sometimes come with the quotes that I just feel without me realizing that it could be, that it could make a difference. But I do remember saying this, and I do remember you taking it on and be like, okay. So I'm very happy that kind of did something.
Yeah. And actually, ever since I've made a point of making sure that I create something pretty much every day, even if it's just starting a bracelet or whatever, little craft projects or working on a screenplay. But I make something every day.
Nice. Well done.
We both started working in 2010.
Really?
Or thereabouts. Yeah. I was about 24 years old and you were 10. What did that feel like? How did it work with school? Did you have classes on set? Did you disappear for a few months?
Well, the first project I worked on was a children's theater called Circus Summarum, and that was basically just one summer. So I got the lead in that circus, which is it's a circus for children over a summer basically. So it was in my summer vacation that I went on and did this, and of course it went over some of school time. And the school that I went to actually wasn't that happy about it at all. So they kind of threatened take me out of the school, and we had this one teacher who really wasn't having it. He wasn't having that I wanted to become an actor, and he thought that I was, because I was in the circus, I must have been the circus clown. So he was kind of picking on me. It was strange. It's like this old man. He was our music teacher or singing teacher.
Of all people, it was an art teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I would have guessed maths or something.
Oh, no.
That's just shocking.
And I don't know what it was with him, because I felt like we had a good connection, actually. But either way, didn't matter. But it's still something that I remember quite clearly. Either way, I started doing that. So with school, we got to figure it out, and ever since that project, slowly I began to get into the film industry when I was quite young. But and I just remember having a lot of fun. To be honest, it was really, really fun to go different places. I remember we were shooting in Nice in France and shooting in Germany, and I got to go like places that I've never went to in my life, to do what I thought was really fun. So that was a big pleasure, and I felt very lucky to have that opportunity to do that.
And then you went on to yeah. Fast forward. Then pretty soon you went on to big Netflix productions like Borgen, like The Rain. With Borgen, I suppose you were really quite young, and that was quite a grown-up show, so very political. There was a marital conflict. So some of the scenes that you were in were quite mature, like, for instance, parents trying to be intimate when you come into the room.
Well, the thing is, you're not the first one to mix me up with the young guy who played the young kid in Borgen. It's so strange. It's not me.
It's not.
We look very, very similar, and he went to my the same school that I went to.
Really? What are the odds?
In the 4th season, I'm the older version.
Yeah.
When I say I played, Birgitte Nyborg's son, like, you're that little kid. I'm like, no, that's not me.
I'm the big kid.
I'm the big kid.
I'm the environmental activist.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So no, I only came onto that show when back in 2021, I believe that was. But it's my girlfriend is bringing me some lunch. That is. Yeah, and it's not for you. It's not for you, Anne. It's not for you. No, it's not for you. When I was 14, 15 years old, there was kind of like a little gap of nothing being made, or nothing being made. But no roles were coming my way, and I slowly started to get into the what if I can't do this for the rest of my life, or I can't continue doing this. I have to have a plan B. My father, he was really good at always making sure that I at least had a plan. So I went to something called After School, which is a program we have in Denmark where it's after middle school, and you go to, it could be after school for football or for music or for all of these different.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a specialty.
What subject was it that you did in after school?
Graphical design and 3D animation.
I was wondering, so I was thinking, if you weren't an actor, what would you be? And the first response that came to me, based on what I know about you, is you would be a designer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't specifically think of graphic design. I just thought fashion, interior design, architecture.
That's cool, yeah. Maybe just a designer that could do it all.
That would be you.
Went to that after school, and in the end of that, I had to start on not the university but the gymnasium, and it only took 8 months, and then the audition for the Netflix series The Rain, the first Scandinavian Netflix series. I was auditioning for that. I was 16 years old when we started auditioning, and it took something like 4 months. I was in back and forth 6 or 7 times, something like that. And then I was so lucky, and I got that part.
It wasn't just luck.
Thank you, but a lot of luck as well. It I had to be that same exact age at that time. And there's always some luck involved. And that was 3 years. We did 3 seasons, and that kind of like kickstarted my career into acting for real.
So when you started The Rain, that was pre-pandemic. And this series is obviously about a virus that forces Denmark into lockdown. And then a few years later, I suppose when you were working on season 2 or 3, the actual pandemic happened. And a lot of what had been just on screen up until that point suddenly became reality. What was that transition like?
It's very interesting that you bring this up, because for us it was very surreal. It was strange that suddenly what we kind of all pretended was happening in real life, which was so weird at that time because we were still shooting season 3 at that time. And it's funny with The Rain because I always thought then I always wanted it to take another direction in the show, because it kind of became like a supernatural. It was already supernatural, but it was more sci-fi.
Yeah.
And now it just became like a superhero show-ish. I always wanted it to stay a post-apocalyptic show, kind of like Lost and all these great apocalyptic shows. I thought that was way more interesting, and just to dial it down to young people being some of the only ones left in the world. Either way, I think it would have been interesting to see where, if we continued or we did one more season, to see where would it go, where would it take us. Will we go back to what's originally what worked in the beginning, or where would we go? Interesting. Season 4 of The Rain back.
Yeah, and resurrect you. Well, there have been other resurrections on the show.
Oh,
so
exactly, yeah.
So you start out obviously really young and innocent, and like a little boy that was literally sheltered for years in a bunker, and all he has is his sister. And towards obviously the end of the show, you become this incredibly cunning mastermind, someone that is almost dictatorial. There is a huge kind of power grab in there. But at the same time, he believes that he's righteous, and he believes that he's acting on the correct principle. Now, at that young age, What kind of life experience did you have to draw on to portray someone like that?
Well, in the beginning, it was very easy to draw the lines between being seeing the world for the first time and kind of experiencing that with Rasmus, that character, because I was kind of like stepping into acting for real at that time in my mind or my heart. So that was very easy to draw conclusions there. With the whole power dynamic thing, it was more difficult. I found it hard to kind of figure out why exactly it was that he wanted to become this guy. I think he never had anything. He never had control. So when he suddenly got it, and I think for some people that can just go to their head and make them delusional a little bit. But he kind of found his way in the end. In the end, he just wanted to have his sister back or his family, to be honest. And he had lost so many things, so many people, and he always heard that he was wrong his whole life. There was something wrong with him, and he just had enough. And I think I kind of just tried to boil it down to something that's more teenage, kind of figuring out who you are, why are people how they are around you, what is your place in the world. I think that was kind of what I thought at the time.
That was your kind of
And also just
inspiration.
yeah, but also like I'm hungry. Let's eat something. Now I'm sad. Now I want to cry. Now I'm happy again. He was also just like a puppy in some way, like very naive guy.
Yeah, true. Given his shoutout background, but still, I thought you did an absolutely incredible job at portraying these kind of really sinister emotions and some of the darkness. Like there was a scene where you get into a lift and force someone to do something against their will, and just the way that little smile at the beginning, not just the very big showy scenes, but even little moments like that. Now, you once told me that filming in Denmark is quite different to what a movie set works like in Hungary or in the UK. What are the main differences and what do you like about each?
Well, the biggest difference is definitely the people. I mean, there's 100% more people working on productions in Hungary than in Denmark. We have a lot of the same people coming onto each project. In total, we are maybe like 50, 60 people. Yeah, and kind of, on a production in Denmark, we never have a green room, for instance. It's very rare.
Oh my God, this podcast is not going to go down well in Denmark.
We don't have something called cast ADs. It doesn't exist. We have first AD, second AD, and a third, maybe. Maybe we don't even have a third. We have two ADs. And as I told you, I remember being on set and I was like, well, where I come from, we have responsibilities, I'm an actor. I still need to be where I need to be on time. And that's my responsibility. It's not yours. I mean, it is also yours, but it shouldn't only be yours.
Yeah, because I suppose that must have taken a bit of getting used to, that you're basically always being followed around.
Yeah.
And like we have to know when you go to the toilet, when you're stepping up to eat, when you're changing, and that must be quite difficult.
Yeah, but it's what I learned was, as I communicated to you and to Panna and to whoever we were on the day, that just open communication to say that what I felt like I needed on the day, you guys were aware of. I think that's how you can have a good day on set. In an actor's eyes, that you just communicated because we're a team in the bigger picture, not just because we're actors. It doesn't really matter who we are on the crew list.
Multiple people have said, both to you and to me, that whenever you arrived, you brought with yourself an energy, an enthusiasm that set the tone for the day. And I feel like as a lead actor, that's an incredibly important quality to have. Not all leads have that quality. And I really respected that about you. And yeah, kind of in connection to that, filming is an incredibly demanding work. Like you've got emotions that you need to get into, and feel free to eat in the meantime. You're living and breathing the production while you're there, because even when you're off set, you might be talking to a producer, you might be working on the new alternate ending, or you're working out. You like to do your own stunts. You might be in very uncomfortable situations where you have to wade into a lake in March at night when it's literally freezing. Yeah. But as an actor, you also have to obviously keep your energy and sort of maintain some boundaries. How do you keep that?
I think it's just every workplace. It's just nice to wanting to come to work, wanting to bring something to the table to make the day great. You know, first of all, I was super happy to come into work every single day, as I always am. And it was great people working on this project, and people seem super excited and very, you know, very focused, as you say earlier, that people really wanted to make this film great. And I'm pretty sure the film is going to be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course, I had days where I was way more tired, and you know, a lot of things would be happening in here or in here, and then it's all about how much you then eject out to the world. I probably had maybe 4 hours of sleep and was only allowed to eat 1,100 calories that day. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then it's definitely hard to stay happy and positive. But then, you know, then there's luckily someone else on the day that has way more energy and can pull you up. So what comes around, which is great. You know, bringing good energy is also, they know what you're coming with, so they want to meet you with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And that can then pull me up. It's not just a one-way street. It definitely goes both ways. But yeah, and come on, we are doing entertainment. We are shooting a film. Why not having fun with it? We're getting paid making entertainment, so we should at least have fun with it.
Yeah, very often it feels like when I'm on set, I'm getting paid to play with my friends.
Exactly. I feel the same way.
When you're filming, you obviously have to be aware of a lot of things other than what's going on in the character's mind. You have to be aware of where your mark is, the way the light hits your face. That's something I noticed on my very first day of filming with you. It was a dark forest, nighttime, and there was this moonbeam coming through the woods. And you stepped into the moonbeam, coming from way back, like 50 meters back. And you knew where you had to stop and how you had to turn your face so that the light hit correctly. Is that something that kind of takes you out of the moment, or is it second nature now?
Well, after I shot a show on, hi, it's Otto again. He wants to come and say hi, but you need to wait.
Otto is always welcome.
You need to wait a little bit because I still have my lunch. Oh, he is the clumsiest guy ever. You want?
Oh, so cute.
You want to say hi again? No, now you down now. You lay down now. I shot a show called 1899 on Netflix, which is one of my absolute favorite shows to be a part of. One of my favorite creators of all time made that show. And that show is very technical. And I think after obviously doing The Rain for 3 seasons is also super technical. There was a lot of scenes we had to do multiple times to capture for VFX and whatnot. So I think just with experience, you just know that certain things are only captured in the camera if the camera catches it. So I could have, I could have ran around in the forest, but if the camera doesn't catch it, it doesn't matter really, you know? Definitely not on this film, but in other projects that I've done. It's nice to stay in the ambivalent zone. It's to stay with everything and nothing at the same time. So for an actor, it's basically just, that a camera is rolling, but you don't want to be aware of it. You don't want to be aware where it is. You just want to be as much as possible into the scene. And for this film, it was difficult to do that. I had to, you just learn how to dance with the camera in another way. That and it's different from project to project. Some projects are more technical than others. This one definitely was as well. On this project, we had a cinematographer who liked blocking before, the actor stepped on set. I've never done that ever before.
Not even on the rain, not even on 1899?
No.
Really, never?
You would always rehearse, and then you would find the blocking with the director. And the cinematographer would watch and see, where are the actors going? Okay, I need to have my camera here.
Right.
And that's a way for letting the actors and the directors do the scene before the camera does the scene. And that's something that we didn't do on this. And 100%, it was time saving. 100% that we didn't do that. So it's all a big mixture of people that have to be on the same page, basically.
And think about it while you were acting. Yeah. When you rap on a show, you have to kind of step out of a character that you have embodied for however many weeks, months, or even years. Do you have any sort of ritual for letting go of that character?
I don't think so, no.
Because when I watched some of the BTS stuff on The Rain, someone said you have to take your costume off and like stamp on it. It's a theater thing because that will kind of kill the character.
Someone said that? Interesting. Do you remember who?
Yes, I just can't pronounce his name.
Mikkel. Oh.
Yes, Mikkel. He said it.
Okay.
Mikkel. He said that he basically he told Alba to take off her costume and then stamp on it because that will kill the character and like allow her to move on. Do you do anything like that, or do you just kind of let it drift gradually?
I'm like, okay, guys, we're also, we're reading a script. On the page, it says what I need to say. I'm pretending to be this person who I'm not. And that is what an actor does. Someone tells me what to say, It's kind of like the extras.
Yeah.
Sir Ian McKellen explaining to Ricky Gervais what an actor is. Maybe not all actors will agree with me, but in my mind, that's your job. So for me, it's just my last day is stepping out of the character. And then I'm done with that. It's enjoying it as much as possible. And most of the times, I really want to have something from that project coming home with me. I never got anything, of the character on Desperate Journey with me. I really wanted to, especially that some of the suits.
Or the cardigan that kind of grew on everyone.
Yeah, exactly. But I need to take my memories with me as a treasure instead.
And I suppose it helps that you have a camera, you have your own analog camera with you on set, and like developing that is your basically art form of capturing those memories and also bottling them in a way.
Exactly. And you got a lot of pictures as well that you gave me on my last day. I have them on a wall in my office. I love the pictures.
You do?
Yeah.
That's lovely to know. Yeah, there were so many great moments and the great poses that you struck just kind of spontaneously. Now, I'd like to talk a little about your private projects, because I know that there are other things that you do in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you co-own a bar. Is that right?
So I have something called Rallo Bar, which is with a group of friends and my girlfriend Laura, who's a part of it now. We have a pop-up bar. So basically, there's no solid location. We change nearly every time we're doing it. Basically, most of the times places where there's normally not a bar.
Mm-hmm.
So that we've had a theater, we've had it on a boat, we've had it now on an island, and soon we're gonna go back to the boat here in August as well. So basically, we our concept is bringing people together, people who wouldn't necessarily meet each other. It's all kinds of people who gets invited. Or everyone can actually join if they wanted to. But it's more of a vibe. It's more of a, here's the place you would have loved to exist when you were, 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just, everyone is just having fun and just, you can be whoever you want to be. It's very down to earth and it's just all about the vibe, good vibes only. People who don't have vibes, they get thrown out.
I think people who don't have vibes, they don't come to those places. I feel like the people who gravitate towards those vibes will be your kind of people.
So that's what I have. The island as well, the outside thing is actually my girlfriend Laura, who's working there. She's the creative director of everything that's happening on that island, and I kind of help her here and there out there because it's such a nice, vibrant place of Copenhagen now, and it's slowly getting to become one of the biggest, places to go in Copenhagen. So I'm very excited for her. And yeah, and then I have, I love writing my own stuff. I have a short film that I wanted to do this summer, but I think it has to wait till next summer. Project that is kind of dear to my heart. It was a memory that I had as a kid that I wanted to just put into a short film. I've written a short film before that I've done.
Oh, wow.
Which I played in, and we did it in 2021, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I want to write and direct it and not want to be in it. And they found these absolutely amazing young kids who's going to play the leads. And I can't wait to do it.
I have seen you, the way you were interacting with some of your co-stars, the way you shared with them about the scene and how you envisioned it. It was almost like directing already, but I can't believe that it is taking off. You have already cast your actors. As far as I remember, you also have the music. Is that right? That was quite a story that you told us about how you found the soundtrack.
So the title of the film is Chasing Butterflies. And I found this song. I think it only has like 40,000 views on Spotify. Hang on, let me check. I just found the song on Spotify and I thought, this gives me a feeling of something, and I'm not sure what it is. And then I started writing this this project, this my short film. It's not done yet at all, but it's more about I realized what it is I wanted to make a movie about. When I met my girlfriend Laura a year and a half ago, we went on a hiking trip very early on in our relationship, and I remember walking with her for hours with our backpacks, and we were talking about all the different kinds of project that I wanted to do, and I was just spilling my heart out with all this, and even just made up some on the go. And I remember back then I said about that I wanted to do this memory, but it was just a story with all of the other stories that I put out. So the song here, how do I check?
How did you even find it if it has so few views? How did Spotify offer it to you?
Okay, this guy has 20,000 monthly listeners. on all his songs. And I think the song only has like 40,000. I don't know how I found it. It might have been on when you create a playlist on Spotify and you let it blend.
Right, yeah.
Either way, this song came out and I was just mesmerized. So I wrote to the composer on Instagram and I told him that he inspired me to write this personal memory that I had into a short film. And I really wanted him to be the composer, and I really wanted to ask if I was allowed to use this song. And he sent the most beautiful reply back. He said, let me find it here.
Oh yeah, please, I want to listen. I want to hear this.
So I write to him, "Hello, Mushimas. My name is Lucas and I'm an actor from Copenhagen, Denmark. I was hoping to get in touch with you regarding your song Chasing Butterflies. The song has inspired me to begin writing a memory of mine that fell into my consciousness after nearly a decade. It's gonna be a short film of 10 to 15 minutes about a 10-year-old boy who is on his summer holiday in a trailer park. He meets a young girl his age. The film is about life, youth, naivety, freedom, and first love. I wanted to ask you if there's a world where you would be interested in doing a collab with me for this film. It's still in super early stages, but I wanted to reach out to you early on. Your song has touched me deeply emotionally." "Nice to meet you, Lucas," he then replies. "I am very happy to hear that my music is reaching you and you're listening to it. When I make music, I feel like I'm sending a message in a bottle to someone I've never met. So this message from you is a gift for me. And as for your short film, I would love to collaborate with you. Let's talk more when you're ready about in detail and in the future. Thank you so much." And I was just like, this is why there is still hope for the world. This is so sweet and genuine, and you know, he it was, for me, it's just a long shot. I was like, this song is so beautiful. There's no way I get to use it. And he was just, yeah, he was just the coolest guy ever. So really excited to get working with him on this.
And I absolutely love what you said about putting a message in a bottle, because you have no control about who it's going to reach and who's going to open it and who's going to understand it. And I truly believe that when creators come together like that, like what were the odds of Spotify recommending that song to you when it had such low views? Like it was meant to happen. I truly kind of believe that when you kind of, you receive that bottle, it's not a coincidence. I know you've got a lot of projects on your plate that mean you have to kind of postpone shooting this, but I can't wait to see what you do with your child actors as well, because that's a whole other thing. Working with children,
and they were super cool.
How did you cast them?
It's my girlfriend's cousins and siblings, those two, but they don't look alike.
Really?
But they have this sibling energy that really feeds into what's really important in this film, which is having, you know, finding two young actors who trust each other so much to be close to each other and not being afraid or shy, or it's very hard to find two different people who doesn't know each other. So finding a pair of siblings who just naturally can be in that, you know, just playfulness is super beautiful. And the film, it isn't really about the love, actually. It's more about just finding someone who you just wish you are best friends with for the rest of your life, and you probably never see them again.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, how most people have a relationship like that where it feels like it's just carefree and childlike, and just as you said, like butterflies. And even if you never see them again, it still gives you that like eternal feeling. I feel like that feeling doesn't pass. That joy, that ease, that I'm sure that siblings will be able to portray very faithfully.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to think of someone that gave you something that stayed with you, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a piece of advice?
Well, my mom has always said that home is where the heart is. Home can be a lot of things. It can be your work, it can be your girlfriend, it can be your family, it can be your friends. If your heart is with your work, with your passion, then you're home. You know, it's you can bend it, that saying, in so many ways, and I really think that that's a very beautiful saying.
And especially now that you travel around a lot for work and you're kind of building your own home, I guess it resonates even more.
Definitely. Fun.
Okay, I've got a bunch of quick fire questions for you.
Okay.
Just don't think about them too much. Just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. So,
Okay.
what's one thing you wish more people knew about you?
I am very good at walking on my hands.
And I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did some on Desperate Journey. Okay, basically,
Okay.
answered my second question, which was, other than acting, what's something you're ridiculously good at?
I would say I'm pretty good at squash, apparently.
I can see that.
I've recently just realized that I'm pretty good at it, you know? I had a friend who played it a lot, and he was like, "You have to come and try this game. It's super fun. It's super fun." And uh, I was like, not another one. You know, I already played badminton and table tennis, and not another kid just bought. Goddamn, and paddle, of course. I also played that. But then I tried squash, and he had been playing for like 3-4 months, I think, and I just demolished him.
You beat his ass.
I beat his ass, and after that, I was like, this sport is it's kind of fun. It is
I
kind of.
have a gift.
I have a gift. So yeah, squash.
What is a very geeky thing you do?
A geeky thing would maybe for me be that I love and enjoy to watch and play Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. He's one of those guys. Yeah. I can imagine you. Yeah, your weapon of choice.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so ever since I saw you in your real clothes, because obviously with actors, very often we only see them in their costume. But when I first saw you in your real clothes, I felt like you had this kind of very defined aura of fashion, very kind of strong sense of style. And I didn't know about your modeling career at that point, but I could tell, it's got something to do with fashion.
This is-
What does fashion mean to you, and where do you source your clothes from?
Well, I share my closet with my girlfriend. So first of all, she's a big influence to why I am dressed as I am. For instance, these pair of pants, my girlfriend have the same pair, but in a smaller size.
Really?
Yeah. And we share the same closet. So we just have a room filled with clothes, and we take each other's t-shirts. It's all unisex, and she dresses a lot like kind of tomboyish. Yeah, and we just influence each other in a very, very good way.
I love that.
I mean, she would say the opposite, but I would say she's definitely why I'm dressed as I am. So a lot of credit needs to go to her, 100%. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think honestly, I like to dress very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I like to cut my shirts. I like to have a big shirt, maybe instead of cutting it. I like my things cropped, maybe very oversized. It's. I don't really have a blazer like a normal blazer that's normal sized. It's all oversized. But trends shift, and maybe we'll have to get rid of all our kind of oversized you know, I don't know. Maybe it's something, but at the moment it's super chill and super nice, and I'm dressed to be comfortable.
Further to the way you look, so on our show, we had to cut your hair, quite a drastic haircut, and you said you'd never had your hair as short as that.
Yeah.
What has your new hair revealed to you about yourself?
Well, now it has revealed for having a shorter hair that I don't need to use as much time as I usually did on my hair. Not because I use much time, but with hair like this, you can't really do much. It kind of just goes where it goes. Maybe I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's perfect. Style.
Perfect. It's perfectly styled. It's just how it grows, apparently. No, so yeah, I realized that you could have hair on your head without doing anything with it. That's great. When you go to the shower, it dries very quickly when you get out. That's something I kind of found out. I also realized that a lot of my confidence came with my hair. To be honest, a lot of my confidence was tied up with my hair because I felt like I could create my look. I could create different characters with it. I could feel that I could be a very posh guy, and then I could be a very ratchet guy at the same, with different styles. When it was very short, just felt like I looked very much to one direction instead of different.
Yeah, I guess it does define your look. And I remember you saying that it's part of your personality, and kind of having it cut so short, it's almost like losing a part of your personality. So for you, that part was this confidence, this ability to put on different guises, almost, thanks to your hair.
But it wasn't that hard as I thought it would be.
Yeah, says the guy who came to the rap party wearing a baseball cap, and he refused to remove it for the entire night.
It was for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. I was like, "Fuck, this is." Let's just let's get past these weeks here. Let's just TikTok. Let the clock roll.
But again, it grows insanely quickly. Like the first time after that I saw a picture of you on your Instagram, I was like, whoa, how did it grow like 3 centimeters in a month?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, no, like, I don't know how long it is now.
At least more than 5, let's say 5, 7 centimeters. And this was what, April?
Yeah.
Now, is there an interview question that you always wished you had been asked?
That's a very good question. Very good question.
Basically, that's what I wanted to hear. I love when interviewees go, "Oh, that's a very good question."
If I were to go back to a period, which one would it be in the world?
Oh, an historical period.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool question. And why? And I would then say, wow, that's a very good question.
Hypothetically.
And I would go back to, I think I would go back to the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to Vienna and I would warn everyone that this motherfucker.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, and I think it would be a very interesting time to go back to the 20s, before all of this, before the First World War even. I think it was just a beautiful time to be in Vienna and to be in Germany and to be in Berlin, for instance. I think it must have been a very, very beautiful time. Or the 80s. Yeah.
Okay. I've got 2 more questions that I would love to ask. I know we've only got 10 minutes. Do you think we can do 2 more?
Let's do 2 more.
2 more. Okay. So one of them is, what's the best piece of direction you've ever received?
It was, well, I would say Bo on 1899, but it's just because I respected him so much. I still respect him a lot, obviously. And I like the director where I really want to make them proud. I do it not only for the audience, but for myself and for them. Of course, I tend to do this in all my projects, but where I'm like, I can't, every single moment, every single scene, every single line is so important because I know this person cares about it. But my best advice, who was it who said that? It might have been Per Fly on a Swedish movie I did here a year ago or something. It's called Hammarskjöld. And he said, remember, you're not acting for us, you're acting for the audience at home, or something like that. He said something that it needs to portray through the screen and on the day. So necessarily the whole thing we talked about earlier with I can act for myself, but I can also act to the camera because that's what the audience will see in the end either way. I think it was kind of like how I understood it. For film and TV, you're not sitting in a theater where everyone from all angles can see you. Kind of like you're walking 360 camera.
And they can feel your energy as well in the same physical space. And I remember you also telling us an anecdote about how basically Bo taught you to kind of cry out of whichever eye you want to.
He said that on Dark, Lewis Hoffman, who is one of my absolute best mates, both he could pick which eye he wanted to cry out of. And I remember that was just something that pushed me even further to be like, okay, motherfucker, I'll show you I can do the same. Okay,
game is on.
For some actors, maybe that would have made them completely terrified. But I took it as a fucking challenge. Bo, he's a really cool guy, and he's like a little teddy bear inside, even though he doesn't want people to know that.
And my final question is, do you believe in signs? And the reason I asked that is because there was that little green bug on 1899 that kind of acted as a lock to all doors. And so obviously you starred in 1899. And then when we were on Desperate Journey, we saw the exact same bug, one of the night scenes we were doing. And that to me was almost like he's meant to be here. This is kind of like a direct continuation of that trajectory. Do you believe in that kind of stuff or not so much?
Not necessarily, but I really like the idea. I really like the if you believe in it, I think that's very nice. I haven't thought about it. I think it's more beautiful thinking about, for instance, the bug in the scene of the film that we did. There was this one bug that kept on landing on me in the middle of awful, actually. And I just decided to keep him, to keep the bug in my hand. I wanted to use it for the scene. And he kept on being a little actor, that bug. He kept on doing the same exact thing every single time. And now it's in the movie. So I hope you guys will watch that and be like, that's a little skedoodle noodle for you. That he was a paid actor, that bug.
Yeah, and I can confirm it was not the animal handler that brought it in. That bug wanted to be there and wanted to be part of the improv that night.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Lucas, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your experiences, your wisdom, everything that you are. I wish you a wonderful rest of the summer. Hope you enjoy some free time apart from all the projects that you're working on that you cannot talk about. So thank you so much for being with me today, and also for introducing OTTO to us.
You are very welcome, Imola. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. And I can't wait to see the future podcast as well, and to see whoever you might lure into to be on the show.
You'll be in good company.
Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe if you want to hear episode 2.